Hi friends, welcome to you all. Today I am here to discuss a new topic, the name of which is reproduction in plants. Before delving ourselves into the depth of this topic, first of all I would like to explain that what is reproduction and what is the role and importance of reproduction in the life cycle of an organism. Reproduction is the process with the help of which an organism produces their own kind for the existence of their species on the earth surface. Okay, so reproduction is necessary not only in plants but also in animals. Okay, we all know that there are two kinds of reproduction, that is asexual and sexual reproduction. Okay, so under this heading, that is reproduction in plants, we are going to discuss about the sexual reproduction that are taking place in plants. Okay, so I have already drawn the diagram of the flower. Okay, so now let us begin with this topic. See, first of all let me label the diagram. Okay, so see, this part is known as stalk or pedicel. This part is known as receptacle or thalamus. This is called petal. This part is this green leaf like a structure which supports the other parts of the flower. Okay, is known as sepal. See, this part is called corolla, and the parts below these petals is known as calyx. This part is known as calyx. Calyx is the part which provides base to the petals and other accessory organs like anther and stigma, or we can say that carpel and stamen. Okay, so see, calyx is the part beginning from the pedicel and thalamus. Okay, and this is also called green leafy like a structure, is also called sepals, and corolla is the accessory part which is based on the sepals. See, this part means corolla, which begins from the base of the sepals. Okay, includes petals, anthers and stigmas. Okay, I will explain these things one by one. See, any organisms which have only one sex organs and organisms which are possessing only one reproductive organs is known as unisexuals, and the organisms which possesses both the sex organs means female reproductive system as well as male reproductive system in a single organism or in an individual itself, then it is known as bisexual or hermaphrodites. Let me explain this. Organism consisting of only one sex organs are called unisexuals, while organisms consisting of both male reproductive system as well as female reproductive system are called bisexual. Bisexuals or hermaphrodites. Say organisms which consists of single reproductive system, either male reproductive parts or female reproductive parts, are known as unisexuals, and the organisms which possesses both the types of sex organs like male reproductive system and female reproductive system are known as bisexuals, or it is also known as hermaphrodites. Okay, that I have explained. Okay, see, male reproductive system is also known by the name of androecium, and the female reproductive system is known by the name of gynoecium. See, androecium and gynoecium. See, androecium is the male reproductive system and gynoecium is the female reproductive system. Okay. Now we will represent the different reproductive parts in the plant, in the flower of a plant. Okay. See, this part is called anther. Anther. And this part is called stigma. This bilobed shaped structure is called anther, and this part is known as stigma. See, in flower of a plant, the male reproductive system is known as stamen, and the female reproductive system is known as carpel or pistil. See, male reproductive organ of a plant is known as stamen, while female reproductive system known as carpel or pistil. See, male reproductive system in the plant is known as stamen, and the female reproductive system of the plant is known as carpel or pistil. Okay. So, stamen consists of anther and filament. Stamen is equal to anther plus filament. This part is filament. Okay, this tubular or elongated structure is called filament, and the upper bilobed type structure is called anther. Okay, similarly, carpel or pistil consists of stigma, style plus ovary. In the female reproductive organ of a plant consists of stigma, style plus ovary. See, this is stigma. This part, the central middle part of the plant, is known as stigma, and this tubular part is called style. Style. See, this part is this outer round shaped structure is called ovary. Ovary, and the inner part is called ovule. Inner part of the ovary is called ovule. This part helps in the production of seeds. Okay, these things I will explain later. Okay, this is embryo sac. Embryo sac. Egg cell. Egg cell. See, in the center, this part is called, middle part is called embryo sac, and embryo sac consists of egg cell. Okay, inside the ovary. And the embryo sac consists of egg cell. Okay, inside the ovule. Inside the layer of ovule, there is embryo sac and egg cell. See, now I have to explain the structure of anther. Okay. See, this anther is bilobed in structure like this. This is anther and this is filament. This anther is bilobed, as we can see that. Okay, the shape of which is bilobed. Okay, bi means two. Anther is equal to bilobed. See, a structure of anther is bilobed, as I have seen in my diagram. See, this is bilobed structure, and each lobe consists of two chambers. Okay, so there are 4 pollen sacs. Each chamber consists of pollen sac. Okay, each lobe consists of 2 chambers. And each chamber consists of pollen sacs. Pollen sacs. So there are 4 pollen sacs. See, as the structure of anther is bilobed, lobe means lip-like structure. Okay, so in we people also we can see that there is upper lobe of the lip and lower lobe of the lip, means lower part and upper part. Similarly, in anther also there is the structure is bilobed. Okay, and each lobe consists of 2 chambers, and each chamber consists of pollen sac. It is made up of pollen sac. See, sac means the things in which we carry something. Sac means a kind of container in which we carry something. Okay, we carry sugar or salts etc. Okay, wheat, maize, rice etc. So sac is a kind of container. Okay, so since each lobe consists of two chambers and there are two lobes present, okay, in an anther. Since there are two lobes, there are four chambers and each chamber consists of four pollen sacs, okay. See, see, in this figure I have mentioned that these are four chambers in which pollen grains are filled. See, this is the diagram of pollen sac and there are four chambers which I have mentioned. Okay, these four chambers are filled with pollen grains. Pollen grains are powdery substances. Okay, so see, pollen grains, these are powdery. These are powdery substances. Okay. Similarly, as I have discussed the structure of stamen, that is stamen consists of anther and filament. Similarly, now we will discuss the structure of carpel or pistil, that consists of stigma, style and ovary. Okay, so see, let me first rub this. See, after discussing the structure of anther, now we will discuss the structure of carpel or pistil. So, carpel, stigma, style plus ovary. See, so let me now explain these three terms one by one, that is stigma, style and ovary. Stigma is the part of the carpel which receives pollen grains from the anther. Okay, since pollen grains are powdery in nature, it can be transferred easily by biotic as well as abiotic agents. These things I will discuss after some time. Okay, so see, stigma is the site, it is the site for receiving of pollen grains from anther. Similarly, style is this is the style. Style is the tubular structure, tubular and elongated structure for the transportation of pollen grains from stigma to ovary. Okay, because ovary is the site of fertilization where the two gametes, that is where the pollen grains and the egg cell fuses together to fertilize the eggs. So see, style, it is the tubular structure which carries pollen grains from stigma to ovary. It is the tubular structure which carries pollen grains from stigma to ovary for the fertilization of egg cells. Now ovary. Now see ovary. Ovary is the site of synthesis of egg cells. Site for synthesis of egg cells. Okay, see, ovary modifies into fruit, and within the ovary there is the presence of ovule. Ovule modifies into seeds, means ovary is equal to ovary develops into fruits, and ovule develops into seeds. Ovule develops into seeds. Okay, and below the ovary and ovule, there is a structure. This one structure. This is called micropyle. See, this the significance of this structure is that the micropyle absorbs water at the time of germination of the seed, and it is the micropyle which develops into root. So let me explain micropyle. It is the site of receiving of or absorbing water during germination, and it is this micropyle from which roots comes out. Say, as I have already explained that this micropyle is the miniature opening, a small porous or miniature opening which absorbs water during the germination of seed, as well as it is the site, means it is the portion within the ovary which emerges as a root. Okay. So now, after discussing different parts of the reproductive system of a plant, we will now discuss the types of pollination, how it takes place. Pollination is the process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma, and pollination can take place in two ways. That is, number one, self pollination, and the second one is cross pollination. So pollination in simple terms is it is the process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma. And this pollination consists of two processes. That is, number one is self pollination, and other is cross pollination. Cross pollination. See, self pollination takes place within the same flower parts. Okay, it takes place within the same flower parts. If the pollination takes place with the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma within the same flower parts, is known as self pollination. And if it takes place from the parts of one flower to parts of some other flower, then it is cross pollination. Okay, and it will take place with the help of two agents, that is abiotic as well as biotic agents. Okay, we will discuss these things. Cross pollination, it is the process of transfer of pollen grains from anther of one plant flower to the stigma of another flower of the same plant, or some other plant of different species. See, now continuing our discussion further in the self pollination, we can say that for the process of self pollination, the primary conditions that are required is that the flower should be of the type of clistogamy, or clistogamous type of flower is necessary. Okay, it takes place in the clistogamous type of flower. See, clistogamous type of flowers are the flowers in which the sex organs of the flower are enclosed within the petals. Okay, it means that, or we can say that anther and the stigma of a flower are enclosed with the petals. Okay, it is closed, and it has nothing to do with the outside atmosphere for the process of pollination. Okay, since it is enclosed with the help of petals. Okay, the examples of this type of flowers are example pansy, cardamine, and oxalis. See, I have already said that in this kind of flowers, that is pansy, cardamine, and oxalis, the anther and the stigma, which are the parts of stamen as well as carpel, or we can say that these are male reproductive part as well as the female reproductive part of a flower, and these are enclosed within the petals. Petals are colored part of a flower which attracts insects as well as birds for the process of pollination. Petals are colored, and due to the presence of color and the fragrance, these attract the insects as well as birds for the process of pollination. and apart from the role of attracting insects and birds for the process of pollination, it also provides protection to the flower, or we can say it also provides protection to the stamen as well as carpel of a flower. Now see, self pollination is also known as autogamy. Okay, autogamy. See, self pollination is also known as autogamy. Gamy means marriage. Gamy means marriage. We can also see in our society people who marriages many women. Okay, they are given the term of polygamy, or we can say the practice of polygamous. And anyone who marriages one girl is known as monogamy. Okay, so see, self pollination is autogamy, and cross pollination has two types. That is one is zoonomy, and other is xerogamy. See, cross pollination is of two types. Number one is zoonomy and other is xerogamy. Okay, zoonomy is the process of transfer of pollen grains from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower. Means two different flowers of the same plant can take place in the process of zoonomy, whereas in the for the process of xerogamy to take place, the two flowers of two different plants, whether it can be of the same species or of different species, can take place. Okay. See, number one, zoonomy. If the pollen grains of one part of a flower fertilizes the stigma of some other flower within the same plant. See, the process of zoonomy takes place when the reproductive part of a flower, that is pollen grains of one flower, is transferred to the stigma of another flower within the same part of a plant. And xerogamy, that is another type of cross pollination, takes place when the pollen grains from one part of a flower of a plant is transferred to the stigma of some another plant. It should be either of the same species or it might be of some another species also. Okay, so let me explain this here. Xerogamy. It is the transfer of pollen grains from one part of a flower, from one part of a flower of one plant to the stigma of some other plant, of the same species or of different shape. Self pollination I have explained, and it takes place in the clistogamous type of flower. Cross pollination takes place in the chasmogamous type of flower. See, cross pollination takes place in the chasmogamous type of flower, and self pollination takes place in the clistogamous type of flower. Okay, these two terms, that is clistogamous type of flower and chasmogamous type of flowers, I am going to explain. Okay, see, I have already written the examples of clistogamous type of flower, that is pansy, cardamine and oxyalis, and the examples of chasmogamous type of flower is sunflower and hibiscus. Since these flowers, that is sunflower and hibiscus, are open and their reproductive organs like stamen and carpel are also open, so the cross pollination can take place easily in these kinds of flowers with the help of pollinating agents like bees, insects and birds. Okay, after discussing types of pollination, now we are to discuss about the different names which are assigned to the pollinating agents. Okay, so now let me rub this. See, after discussing many things about the reproduction in plants, now we are to discuss about the pollinating agents. See, pollinating agents. These are broadly classified under two headings, that is abiotic agents and biotic agents. See, abiotic agents consists of air, water, and biotic agents consists of human, or animals, insects and birds. See, pollinating agents are, number one is biotic agents and number second is abiotic agents. If the pollinating agents are abiotic agents, then there are two major agents, that is number one is air, and if air is the agent of pollination, then it is known as anemophile. And if pollination takes by the agent of water, then it is known as hydrophile. Similarly, if the pollination takes place with the help of animals or human beings, then it is known as zoophily. Zoophily. And if the pollinating agent is insects or the bees, then it is known as entomophily. And if the pollinating agent is birds, then it is known as ornithophily or ornithophily. See, in biology, in abiotic agents, if the pollinating agent is air, then it is known as anemophily. And if the pollinating agent is water, then it is hydrophily. And in biotic agents, if the pollination takes place with the help of animals, then it is known as zoophily. And if insects are the pollinating agent, then entomophily. And if the pollinating agent is birds, then it is known as ornithophily. Okay. See, phily means phily or phylus. Phylus means loving. Phily or phylus means loving. Okay. Flowers are equipped with two kinds of vapor for attracting the biotic agents for the purpose of pollination. Number one is their fragrance. Fragrance means smell, and the other is their colored petals. Okay. Due to their bright color, due to the presence of the bright color of the petals, insects are attracted. So this was our today's topic, that is reproduction in plants. Okay. So thank you.